This little beauty, beautifully painted, I will add, belongs to a friend of mine. She's one of the teachers at the rock school that I work at. And she bought this from Thomann, this Harley, I think it's Harley Benton branded, 80 euros at what it cost, build your own guitar kit. And she did a beautiful paint job on it, as you can see, textured paint finish too. You see it still has the paddle headstock. She decided to leave it that way. So she brought the guitar to me and said, can you help me? Can you make this guitar play properly? So I've seen what these guitar kits are like. Let me tell you something. If you buy one of these guitar kits to turn it into a real, well-playing instrument, you're going to spend 3 times as much getting a guitar tech to fix the problems with the guitar as you are on the actual guitar, okay? That's the truth of the matter. Do not think that you can buy one of these kits and have a wonderful playable guitar at the end of it. That might not be the case, okay? I don't want to be that serious with you. Right, let's talk about the major problems with this guitar. The bodywood is one of the softest bodywoods I've ever seen. I mean, I can push my fingernail into it and make deep gouges. And that can be a problem. One of the problems that I had with this guitar was the screws. I mean, the holes are already drilled in the guitar, let's get that right, but the screw for the strap button stripped out immediately. So it just went in and then just kept turning and turning and turning. Why? Because the wood is so soft, it's incredibly easy to over-tighten these screws. And that goes for any of these. So beware of that, number one. Okay? So that had to be drilled out and plugged and redone. What were the other problems with it? The bridge appears to be in the wrong place. I can't intonate the low E string. It's constantly flat. No matter how much I shorten it, I can't get it in tune. That's a problem. So I've had to compromise there. I had the screw, the saddle for the high E string all the way up against the screw, which I didn't like. So I moved it back a bit and then I intonated everything else to match. So at least the instrument is in tune up and down the guitar neck. What are the pickups like? Well, they're cheap single coils with ceramic magnets underneath. The neck and the middle pickup don't sound that bad, but the bridge pickup sounds, well, it's as weak as a cup of tea made by a Frenchman. I mean, the French don't do tea, so they don't know. That's not what a good pickup should sound like. It's pretty crummy. The electronics are cheap, to say the least. This tone pot does not work. It just spins and spins and spins. It's nonsense right out of the bat. The routing underneath the pick guard is clean. It's cleanly done. I mean, it's, this day and age with CNC, there's no reason for routing to be anything other than perfect. It's not very deep. It's just deep enough for these guys. So with a little extra cutout just under here for the selector switch. So if you were going to replace these with another size, you have to make sure that they're not too deep, because otherwise it's not going to fit. Okay. Yeah, the pickups sound okay. Yes, we saw the bridge maybe in the wrong place. You can see how far forward I have the saddles. The bridge block is the cheapest, thinnest possible block that you could ever imagine. Again, you'll have to be careful with the screws for the trem claw because the body wood is so soft. The neck pocket seemed to have an angle like this. In other words, the neck was angled this way, so I had to shim it a bit to get the saddles at the right height. The fretwork. Oh, Jesus, the frets. No leveling or crowning or polish was done at all. The fret edges were sticking out and they were rough. They really hadn't been dressed in any way. It was pretty awful. So basically I did that job from scratch. In fact, I didn't even do a full level. This is not a guitar that my friend plays up and down the guitar neck. She's a cowboy chord thing. She's actually a singing coach, and she plays, I think she plays piano as her other instrument. I'm not entirely sure. Guitar is not her first instrument. She plays mostly here. It doesn't need to play perfectly up and down the guitar neck for her, so I'm not going to put that much time in and charge her that much money on an $80 instrument, you know? So fretwork was horrible. The nut is the softest nut material I have ever come across. I can't tell you just how fast the nut files went in there. It was pretty scary. Once I got the first one in, I'm like, okay, we're going really slow here. Otherwise, the slots are going to be terrible. Speaking of slot, the slot on the top of the fingerboard that the nut sits into was uneven. The nut rocked like this in there. So I had to level the bottom of that and level the bottom of the nut. I've been lucky with this guitar. I haven't had to adjust the truss rod. The neck relief is right where it's supposed to be. Is it going to stay there? I don't know. Does the truss rod work? I don't know. There are no promises, okay? What else did you, oh yeah, she had one other problem with these. Even though the holes in the headstock were drilled for the screws, for the tuners, the heads broke off the screws really easily. I mean, I know that in principle, when we're drilling into, or not drilling, when we're screwing into a hardwood like maple, we really need to add a little bit of wax, candle wax or beeswax to the screws to help them glide in and go into place. But the people who sell you this kit, they don't tell you that. They don't give you any of the hints and tips that people who are used to working with wood or working with guitars know to get through the problems. So, yeah, what can I tell you? It's a disappointing instrument. The tuners, the tuners are horrible. I mean, they're really, really horrible. You know that when you have a guitar with bad strings on it and everything is unlubricated and badly cut, you know all those pinging noises that you get from the strings moving through the nut and across the string trees? The tuners alone make those noises. Everything right now is lubricated. The tuners ping. The backlash and grittiness and just unevenness of the tuners is really, really ugly. It's going to be frustrating for anyone, you know? So I know my friend loves her guitar, loves the paintwork, but she's under no illusions as to what quality she got at all. The guitar is now about as playable for her as it will ever be, and I fixed the major problems for her. Now, because she's a friend, she gets the friend and family special price from me. Okay? Because we're colleagues and we work together. I have about 3 hours in this. 3 hours of bench work at $60 an hour is $180. I'm not charging her anywhere near that. I'm charging her about a third of that. But if you buy this kit at 80 euros, be prepared to put another 120 into it to get it work right if you have to bring it to a professional. Or here's your get out of jail card. Don't spend less than $200 on an electric guitar. Just don't do it. For $200, I think you can get a soft case and a tuner and a guitar that will play well. The same applies to acoustic guitars. $200 is my benchmark number. Don't go much below that. Because everything below that price is really hit and miss. Some of them will be okay. Some of them will be okay with a little bit of work and some tweaking, but you want something that's not going to be incredibly frustrating. I know a lot of people in the world don't like Cort guitars. I quite like them though. As a guitar tech that's handled hundreds and hundreds of them, one of the things I like about them is that the tuning keys work. They actually work. They feel smooth, they work, and they hold their tune, and they don't ping and crack and make all kinds of rotten noises like these do. The tuners on Cort guitars are tuners that I would find acceptable on any guitar. They're not the best in the world, no, but they don't suck. The lowest price Squier guitars, the lowest price Ibanez guitars, I think are pretty awful. And I've seen some Harley Benton guitars that have surprised me, but I'm not going to tell you they're great, no, because I've seen some really ugly ones too. So, friends, don't let friends buy a $80 make your own guitar kit, all right? They don't. Jessica will be happy with this guitar. The frets are beautifully smooth and polished and super comfortable, and I can slide my hand up and down this neck as fast as I like, whereas I would end up with a bloody hand the way it came to you. It was that sharp in places. It was pretty ugly. So, don't buy one of these kits, okay? Make your own guitar kit is kind of, people think, oh, it must be fun. I'll have some fun putting it together, and then I'll have a playable instrument. You may not have any fun putting it together, and you may not have a playable instrument. And the amount of money that you will spend bringing it to a professional like me to fix it for you is money that you could have spent on a better guitar in the first place. Okay, there you go. Right, any questions? Put them in the comments. If you like this video, please like it. I'm not going to tell you to like and subscribe all the time because frankly, I don't care. You know what's important to me? Likes. If you like it, just click the like button, okay? And also, tell your friends. It really helps. Thanks, everybody. You look after yourselves, okay? I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.